Doomsday's been making an appearance lately in the comics again, and with this one shot, I think it's time to do a deep dive because I see a lot of disrespect on this man's name on this app. But before I do a deep dive, I thought it might be cool to take a look at something interesting. DC did these Year One annuals and they're all pretty cool, but I thought it might be interesting to look at Doomsday because a lot of stuff went down before he ever met Superman. And the story basically starts with a bunch of people going out to the spot where Doomsday climbed out of the earth, and they were kind of having their, he wrecked our lives, let's have this memorial area and try to get some answers. And some cops showed up and basically were going to kick him out, but Supes came down and said, hold it up, come with me, I'm going to tell you a story. And this story starts over 200,000 years ago with a younger Darkseid, and he's come to this planet because they need the chemicals that the planet produces for Apocalypse. And unfortunately, that means that Darkseid has to marry this lady, and he's really upset about it. I mean, he's complaining to his uncle, Steppenwolf, saying, yeah, I don't understand why I have to go through this crap, we should just take it. But I gotta say, Mr. Side, yeah, you could do worse. Are you that mad, really? Basically, he comes, they have some back and forth, and there's a big commotion outside. They run out to see what it is. A ship's landing, something lands, and they're like, nothing could survive that, but then a beast comes out of the smoke. And they're all just basically trying to figure out what this thing is that's coming out. And this thing is Doomsday. And if you know a little bit about his past, you know where he grew up, and he was just constantly being killed and rebirthed and all these things until he became this monster that literally hates life. So this dude is like the maker of this world, and he's blind, but he can see things into the future and know things. And when he looks at Doomsday, he basically sees Apocalypse. No, not like the X-Men gave, but like, the end of the world. Armageddon come to life, the murder of millions, the end of us all. And Darkseid's friend feels a little bit froggy, and he says, you know what, okay, walking Armageddon, cool. I got this, Darkseid, you hang back. And Doomsday basically dismantles this guy right in front of Darkseid. And Darkseid's talking about how, he grew up with this dude, and this guy fought all kinds of people, and no matter what came up against him, he always prevailed, and he thought he was invincible. And he's just looking at his mangled body, and it says that this is the first time that Darkseid feels fear. And Doomsday's basically the honey badger of this world. He just don't care, so he keeps on coming towards Darkseid. The funny thing is, Steppenwolf tells him to use his Omega beams, and he's like, no, honor demands I fight with my fist. Okay, Darkseid. And to his credit, he does. But their fight basically makes the chemicals on this world so unstable that it's about to just destroy everything. Like, the gases apparently can even hurt Darkseid. So he dips. Some of the people try to get away, and Doomsday finds his own ride off. Story skips, and we find that Doomsday ends up landing on this planet. And the planet is basically a war planet. Like, it seems like that's what everybody does. They just fight, they build machines and armor and tech to fight each other. That is the culture of this planet. But again, Doomsday don't care. He jumps in and just starts humping everybody. Punching everybody? What did I say? And I mean, they're like, oh, whose side is this guy on? Did the red send him? Did the black send him? And Doomsday's like, nope, you can all get it. They start trying to get all their machinery firing on him. He doesn't even feel it. He just jumps in with a bap, skibbity bap, and gives them all hands. So basically, one of their greatest warrior comes up, and he's like, okay, we can't beat this guy. We can't keep fighting each other. We need all of our greatest minds to come together and build me a suit. This suit has to just let me survive this dude for a little bit. And they do. They build him this suit so that he can withstand the Doomsday. And they hatch this plan where basically he's going to get this rocket ship ready to take off, and he's going to try to get Doomsday to fight him so he can take him onto the ship. And I mean, to his credit, it worked. It worked. There's basically this stirring moment where the world is like watching their hero now, and they're all coming together and not fighting because they realize that they had to come together for this goal against this monster that was going to take them all out. And he has this great kind of hero moment, and then he gets his head crushed. But look, he got him off the planet, and then that was his goal. I mean, whatever happened after that, at least his planet is good. He sacrificed himself, and they got rid of the monster. So the story skips to this Green Lantern. He's this weird squiggly dude named Zaran Ran. Also, he uses his lantern ring to phase through the walls. I'm not the biggest lantern guy. I like them. I've read them. I know some of their feats. I didn't know they could do that. That's pretty cool. But essentially, he gets inside of here because there was some kind of distress call. And he's like, hey, what's up? And these dudes are like, thank God. We tried to come help this planet, and this guy is just wrecking everything. So Bell's like, cool, gotcha. I mean, you know, a whole planet by one guy, that seems a little crazy, but I'll dip on down there and take care of it. And at first he seems to do okay. I mean, Doomsday has never fought a Green Lantern before, so when he jumps at him, he's repelled by the shield. Our hero is gonna save the day. If it was anyone else, but Doomsday comes back, just this rage machine, just smashing into his shield. So Pell hits him with everything he's got in this one concentrated beam, knocks Doomsday back, then encases him in solid willpower. Ring power? Same thing. And then dude basically calls out to the Guardians and he's like, I got a problem. I have a real problem. This guy's actually breaking out of my construct. I don't know what to do. And the Guardians basically watch and they realize that his rage basically fuels his strength, and he has rage that burns, according to them, as hot as any star. And he rips out of that construct and unfortunately just tears this Green Lantern limb from limb. And he's got a lot of limbs. And then remarkably, Doomsday puts on the ring. Like, he can sense these Guardians talking to him and looking at him, and he sees them as a threat. And the ring actually reacts and destroys their constructs there. And oh my God, it gets crazy from here. So he basically goes out into space with the ring. They send scores of lanterns after him. I mean, he just murdered hundreds of Green Lanterns. Thousands were injured. And it said they would not know an attack like this for hundreds of millennia. I mean, he was a monster, literally. I mean, just intuitively tapping into the power of the ring to get it to do what he wants. And so he lands on Oa. He wants to tear the whole place down. And they're like, dude, we got to do something. And so one of the Guardians comes out. And essentially these guys, like, they're their own power batteries. I mean, that's the amount of power that they have inside of them. You know, like the little things that charge up the lantern rings. They're like that powerful in each single one of them. And so he starts going at Doomsday, like trying to fight him, trying to stop it. Doomsday basically just starts firing right back with his ring, and he's like, let's do this. And soon the Guardian realizes that he's adapting to the ring, and so the more power he's pushing into Doomsday, the more that Doomsday is growing used to an ability, you know, having the ability to overcome that. When the other Guardians are like, should we come down and help? He's like, no, I gotta try to just end this quickly, because if he gets used to all of our powers, yeah, it's gonna be a problem. And you know, he decides in that moment, I gotta sacrifice myself, and he makes himself a bomb and just blast everything around him. I mean, the blast destroys the ring that Doomsday took, but the crazy thing is it actually ripped open a hole in space and sent Doomsday flying light years. But it didn't kill him. It kind of knocked him out. It did not kill him, which made him another person's problem, and he ended up landing on Calaton. And I think a lot of people kind of know this part of the story. I mean, basically there's these people kind of telling this part, and they're crowding around their hero, which is the guy that, you know, was made pure energy so that he could fight Doomsday. But basically Doomsday adapted to be able to fight him when he came back, because, you know, he killed Doomsday, and they're the ones that sent him to Earth. But when he came back in a later story, he actually adapted and was able to rip him in half, even though he was energy. I also thought it was cool that the guards on this planet kind of wear the suit that Doomsday was sent in. I mean, it's like their ceremonial stuff, I guess, but they have a similar look. I thought that was neat. And there's this whole thing at the end where, like, his kind of presence comes back and he talks to his people, like their guardian guy. And they're just kind of remembering what they went up against, because, you know, Doomsday's supposed to be dead. Of course, we know that he did not die in that second fight. But yeah, while they were really cool to read, I don't think those first stories in, like, Man of Steel and Action Comics, when we first saw Doomsday, I don't think they really made it clear what kind of a problem this guy was. I mean, obviously you pair him up against Superman, you get an idea, but I think some people over the years are like, he doesn't seem that big of a deal. I don't understand how he was able to put Superman down. This story kind of like was trying to let people know, hey, before he ever got there, he was a problem. The thing about Doomsday is he will continue to be a problem. He's only going to get harder to deal with. And with what he's going through in hell right now, man, I'm so excited to see what happens with this. Again, another long video. I don't know if everybody's made it to the end here. If you have, what do you think about Doomsday? Are you excited for me to do a deep dive into the character and kind of show his appearances and his powers and where he's at this point? Hey guys, let me know if you made it to the end, if you're one of the strong ones. I hope everybody's well, and I'll see you around.